Time and interactions are interesting things. Within a couple of recent moments, I was able to kind of gauge new experiences to different perspectives that I might have had, right? See, I mentioned before about how I was still missing someone very close to me. As I had some interactions and opening up a bit more to a random individual, right? To some degree, it kind of helped me to find more peace in everything overall. There's not much I can change, there's not much I can do. But regardless of that, I still appreciate and am thankful for the time I had with this individual. They will always mean everything to me, but in the sense of the past. In the present, I now learn that no matter what I would like to try to do to have them back in my life, there is no winning. There's nothing I can do to have them come back, or anything as such. So I kind of have to make peace with a different perspective I might have had before to something new now. It's helped me to kind of understand that the pain that I'm feeling is something that I continually inflicted upon myself because I purposefully wanted to feel. Because if I did not feel, then I was neglecting and rejecting the emotions I had before. I no longer have such a view. Things have changed and things are different. I will still appreciate from time to time the moments I had with this individual. Acceptance is one thing of knowing that I can no longer have said individual in my life. She was very special and important to me. She meant the world to me. But I now understand that I could never keep her. And I understand that the pain that I was feeling was something that I kept holding on to myself. There are times where we can understand a pain that we have, but need to come to a realization that we're the ones holding on to that pain. It's not something that is there because of other outside reasons. No, it's all internal. The pain we choose to have is something we decide on. I watched the world burn, and I've seen it sprung new life. A life where things can be different. As much as I'd like to wish for a world like that to come to fruition at this moment, it isn't. It won't. Not at this moment here, but eventually in time. Even still, I might see a lot of different perspectives, but one thing I learned is that there are individual perspectives. To listen to them individually, rather than listening to the masses. Just hearing the cries of pain or anger, frustration, or ignorance. I need to learn to take more time to understand the individual of whatever emotion might be felt that is strong. We all do. Because if we don't, then we'll eventually just be listening to an overload of words that don't mean anything at some point. I can't imagine a world where we decide to stay ignorant. I see a world where we can grow and change, but it takes time. There's still plenty of good in this world, but it's stretched too thin. even though there are differences in opinions or thought processes, right? We need to be better. See, I remember there's an individual who I recently met. Their perspectives on life was on a certain moment. And it reminded me of myself because I was stuck in a certain moment. But I was able to understand deeper as to why. They were not. They're trying to find their answer. And I hope and I wish that they're able to find said answer, but it's something that will come in time and in a moment where they're able to decide to themselves enough is enough. I will not be able to speak for everyone but myself, my own experiences and my own moments in life. See, to kind of recall back to one of my older videos, I talked about anger and pain, right? The individual who has caused me anger, I will still occasionally feel anger towards them for the actions taken, for the emotions that I felt, but it does not mean that I feel anger to them. No, it's more so the experiences that I've had. And I need to learn to come to terms with the fact that things happened for X, Y, Z reasons, right? Certain instances had caused such outcomes, right? While I knew how things were to play out, it still was something that I did not want to look at. But now I am able to. I know not whether if I will be within their lives or if they be mine, but regardless of that, I don't hate them. Yes, I understand in my own world, the anger of being wronged is done differently and weighs more differently than those who have been wronged in other senses, right? I am a man, so I have my own benefits. I do not have the negative views or interactions from those who are the opposite gender of I, or who have transitioned to be a gender they choose to be. Right? I cannot speak for anyone else but myself. To me, I understand my own world, and the privileges that I have are encompassed in my own views. But I need to be more than just the views that I have. I need to be willing to understand and see the struggles of those who are different than I, as does everybody else. Because if we do not view the differences, if we do not allow ourselves to be open, then we eventually just continue on the negative hate towards those different from us. It's easier to accept those who are the same as us because it allows a sense of comfort. But those who are those who are the same, it allows comfort. But those who are different, it's scary. It's something we do not want to look at. There are more drastic examples of this. I shall not go into that. Not for the sense of censorship on myself or anything as such, but rather because I feel like a majority of people who were to listen to this would know what I mean. Right? We've had wars fought because of it. Still, it's overall ignorance. It's overall fear. It's overall just deciding to excuse other views and only deciding to see yours as the only correct view. That is not true. Not in the sense of when it comes to neglecting others or pushing others' views down and away and saying that those views mean nothing. interactions, going back, play a big part to how things come out for ourselves. We get to see different perspectives. We get to see and strengthen similar perspectives. But we need to continue to get out of our own comfort zone so we can continue to learn and grow. Having things similar is nice. Don't get me wrong. But we need to understand and explore the difference. Now, there are different ways on how differences can be played, but that is not for me to say specifically. That is for you to find out. But the difference that I'm trying to say here is learning how to understand others and accepting, being willing to listen, and not let your own views be something that cloud you. Because we need to grow. If we want a chance as a species to grow, we need to be willing to listen to each other. And even if it's something we do not like, we need to learn to accept. All this arguing is just countless noises of nothing. It means nothing. It's like shouting at a fire, telling it to turn off. But it ain't gonna do anything. The fire's still gonna burn. I hate this world for its negligence, its ignorance, its unwillingness to be better. But I also love it, because I could see how kind and compassionate and patient it can be. It is able to do both. I want for change now, for a better world, where we're at peace with one another, where we accept one another, where we learn from one another, rather than push each other down and kick each other to the curb and say, I don't care about you. I don't want to listen to you. You don't mean anything. That is just pathetic. Those are just words of bullies. Those who do not care. Those who choose to hide, to fear. Break out of that shell and be better. But interactions and time, they all mean a lot when they come. Who knows when those moments will interact and intertwine with one another, but at some point they will. And at some point you better be willing to learn, to open your eyes, rather than keep it shut. Because until you decide to open it, you'll still be forced to learn the same lesson over and over and over again. It's up to you to decide if you want to be better. I leave this message here. And I wish those who decide to be better and do better a good night. And those who are willing to listen, a good night. And those who listen to this through, no matter what perspective you might have, a good night. And to anyone else, a good night.